Good morning, everybody. Subby down here at Baumgard Weather Center. Man, we've got so much to talk about here over the next few minutes. This is also going to be another extended video forecast for you guys. We're going to take a look at what we can expect over the next couple days, as well as taking a look at some big changes as we head into Thanksgiving week, one of the most traveled times of the year. I know I've had several questions come into me about the forecast over Thanksgiving holiday. So we're going to take a look at that. And man, what a great weekend we had, unless you were a deer hunter, as we had temperatures almost 79 degrees on Saturday. Absolutely beautiful. We had a little bit of a cold front move through Saturday night, cool things down just a little bit for Sunday, but all in all, just a fabulous weekend. Now, we were thinking earlier last week that we would see some moisture as we go into Sunday, into Monday, into today. And it looked like we have a slim chance of seeing a few showers, maybe a sprinkle today into this evening. We have another little disturbance, very weak, that's moving through today, and then we'll see sunshine tomorrow and Wednesday, and then things really start to change up and get into a really active stretch as we begin Thursday into Friday and into next week, which is Thanksgiving week. So let's just put things in perspective what we can expect today into Friday. And we are going to use a short term model here. We'll take a look at what radar could look like as we go through today and into Friday. So we do have some showers that is showing up that we could see. And again, this is going to be very light stuff, guys. So maybe a sprinkle, maybe a light shower today. Don't be surprised if we do get that precipitation today, but it will be very light, not expecting any rainfall accumulation with this. And then that will clear out, and then we will be setting our sights on Thursday and Friday. And as we go into Thursday, notice several showers and thunderstorms here in west central Missouri, the western half of Missouri, as well as into Kansas and Oklahoma. All this moisture will be heading up in our direction into Friday. And again, you have to take a look at all of this moisture is going to be pumped up here into west central Missouri as we go into Thursday and Friday. So we could see rainfall amounts anywhere between a half to an inch and a half here in west central Missouri by Friday night. So we need the moisture. Not going to argue with that one bit. But again, this is going to be a much stronger storm system, and then it's going to produce some much needed rainfall, I do believe, here in west central Missouri. Now, let's take a look a little bit longer range as we go through the weekend into next week. Of course, Thanksgiving week. Everybody's going to have plans for Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and the weekend. So let's just take a look here. This is going to be from the American model, the GFS, and I'll show you the two differences of a couple different models that we're looking at, and then I will also explain the LRC as well and why I do believe that the storm system for Thanksgiving week fits the LRC perfectly. So, as we, of course, go into today, some light showers here in west central Missouri. A very weak low pressure system is going to be moving on off to the northeast and not going to be affecting us too much today. And then, of course, here comes that Thursday, Friday storm, and it's going to be pumping in a lot more Gulf of America moisture into west central Missouri. And of course, that's going to lead to showers and maybe even a thunder shower as we go into Thursday afternoon. And then we go into Friday, and then we'll kind of level things off. We'll have temperatures kind of come back up We've got a little bit of a ridge out ahead of the next storm system. That's going to warm us up just a little bit as we start the work week off next a week from Monday, a week from today. And then as we go later on into the middle toward the end of the week, we have this low pressure system that's going to give us a chance for some showers next week, maybe even some thunderstorms. And that is actually going to drag some of this cold Canadian air down into the Midwest. That's going to affect us on Thanksgiving Day and on to Black Friday. But notice the GFS keeps us mainly dry. We're going to have a big cold snap, a big change. That 540 line's clear down into Mississippi and Alabama. So we are going to get some of that cold Canadian air filter in for Thanksgiving. But the GFS is showing mainly a dry forecast. And then as we go into the end of Thanksgiving weekend, we have yet another storm system, a powerhouse, 999 low that's going to strengthen as it comes into the southern U.S., and that could produce some showers, thunderstorms, maybe even some wraparound snow showers on the backside of this thing as we go into the Monday after Thanksgiving. But of course, now we're getting out there quite a ways ahead of ourselves. So we'll just kind of pertain through Thanksgiving weekend, and then we'll assess what the models and the LRC is saying for the week after Thanksgiving here a little bit later. But that was the GFS, the American model. Now let's jump over to the European model. It's the AIS model, which actually includes AI built into the model, and it shows a similar pattern, but I want to show you the differences. So we're going to start with Tuesday next week of Thanksgiving week, and of course we will see this big trough that's going to be over the Great Lakes. That's going to draw in some very cold air for our Thanksgiving. We will have strong northwest winds as well. That's going to bring the wind chill temperature down for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. We could have winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour as we go into Black Friday, coming straight out of the northwest. So it does look like that we are going to get a heck of a little cold snap, and then as we go into the weekend, kind of a reinforcing cold front that's going to bring more polar air down into the Midwest, dropping our temperature possibly even more as we go toward the end of Thanksgiving weekend. But one big difference between the GFS and the European model is moisture. Now, the European model is showing this low pressure system actually being far enough south to bring up a little bit of moisture from the Gulf. And of course, when that happens, when we have those cold temperatures, we have the potential to see some snowfall, in which it's showing some snowfall down here in west central Missouri, all the way down into the boot heel of Missouri. Not a lot, 1 to 2 inches is what the European is showing, but still, we need to be keeping very close eye on this, especially with all the travel plans that we have going into Thanksgiving weekend. Now, we are a long ways away, guys. Now, you remember here about 2 weeks ago, we started talking about Thanksgiving forecasts. We started talking about that a couple of the models have been showing a big cold snap, maybe even potential for some snow, but we didn't want to get modelitis on this yet because we were so far out. Well, it stayed pretty consistent. Now all the models are showing at least a big change in the temperatures as we get a cold air mass move down into the Midwest, and a couple of them now are even throwing out some hints for some snowfall. So basically, We have to just I'll have to continue to analyze all of this data that's coming in here over the next 4 to 5 days as we go into the weekend and into next week. And I will definitely be keeping you guys updated on what we have going on for that very highly traveled time of the year over Thanksgiving. But I have a feeling everybody is going to be getting in that holiday spirit right around Thanksgiving because it does look like it's going to be a cold one. And if you recall when we were talking about the Thanksgiving forecast here a couple of weeks ago, what I have gathered so far with the LRC. Now we have a pretty good idea of what the cycling effect is going to be for 2026, for the next 11 months. Now, what we're trying to pinpoint is the number of days in between those cycles. Because once we know the number of days in between the cycles, we can go out long range. And we know that every cycle we're going to see a similar weather pattern, and we're going to be able to know when the storm systems are going to be coming in, and we can do long range projections up to 11 months once we get that set up. Now, it's a little bit iffy on the number of days right now. We should have that ironed out here by around the first week of December. But what I want to show you guys, and if you recall, I said if this should happen to pan out for Thanksgiving and a cold air mass as well as maybe some snowfall, that it fits the LRC pattern. And the reason why I said that is because I'm going to bring up a picture here for you guys. This was set back October 14th, and of course the beginning of the LRC was around October 5th, October 6th. And so we're in the first cycle of the new LRC from about October 6th on. So on October 14th, we had a high pressure ridge that brought some warming temperatures. This would have been about last week when we had those 70-degree sunshine days, beautiful. And you notice there was this low pressure system out here over California. The exact same thing is happening. We just had some beautiful weather, the high pressure building up over the central part of the United States. We have this low pressure system in California, and just today they had an atmospheric river going right through California, producing a ton of rain for the state of California. And it looks identical to today. Now, what happens on the 14th of October, this low pressure system dips down into the central part of the United States right around Thanksgiving and usher in some much colder air from the northwest and the Canadian region right smack dab into the middle part of the United States. And so if we go out about 45 days, that exact same pattern is going to be with us here as we go into next week. So again, the LRC, man, is tried and true. Been following it for the last 15 years. They have been researching this over the last 40 years, thanks in part to Gary Lezak, former KSHB meteorologist who is now retired, but he is now spending every minute developing this LRC. It's revolutionary. Our grandkids will be using the LRC cycling pattern for years to come, and it seems like every year it just keeps getting more fine-tuned each and every year. So very excited what this next LRC cycle has in store for us. Right now, if everything that I have seen so far, we're going to have our cold snaps. I think we are going to have a couple, maybe 3 snowstorms as we go into this winter. However, we've had a lot of dry stretches since October 6th as well. So I'm not overly confident on snowfall for this winter. but we should have that pretty well nailed down again by around the first week of December. And I will be having a video production on our LRC winter forecast for West Central Missouri. That will be coming up here probably right around the first of the month. And I will likely be doing that live, and then of course I will share the video afterwards, similar to what we've done over the last couple years. So, pretty exciting time seeing how this LRC develops. But this is exactly the reason why what you're seeing on the screen, why this storm system would fit the bill for Thanksgiving, is because we saw the exact same thing happen around 44 days ago. So it's just remarkable how, and you can actually see my whole wall is just full of 500 millibar charts where I've been tracking each one of these storm systems here since October 6th, trying to get a good grip on what we can expect for this year. And of course, in communication with Gary Lezak almost weekly, we converse back and forth, and he answers my questions and gives me a better understanding of the LRC. So let's just jump over to our forecast for this week, guys. So we are looking Monday today and November 17th, only a week away from Thanksgiving week. I'm one of my favorite times of year. We're looking for a excuse me. We're looking for a high of 63 today with a 30% chance of seeing those showers, maybe a sprinkle as we go throughout the day with a low of 55. Tomorrow we'll see the sun reappear. We're looking for a daytime high, beautiful 70 degrees, overnight low of 44. Wednesday, 67 degrees, sunshine with a low of 54. And then overnight on Wednesday, we see that next storm that's going to be affecting West Central Missouri. It's going to be bringing with it chance of rain, maybe a thunder shower on both Thursday and Friday with highs in the low to mid 60s. So that's all I've got for today, guys. I know it's a little bit longer of a video, but want to kind of give you guys a good look at what we can expect this week, as well as what I'm thinking for Thanksgiving. I'll continue to fine tune our forecast for Thanksgiving week and give you guys updates as we go into the middle part of this week. Everybody have a fantastic Monday. We'll be talking to you soon.